Skepticism is the view that knowledge is hard to come by, so skeptics are generally more cautious when forming beliefs. Now, you might be skeptical in some areas, but not others. You might think, for instance, that we can know a lot about the principles of basic arithmetic, but that religious truths will be harder to discern. Or you might think that your religious convictions are absolutely certain, but suspect that truths about contemporary social or political issues are much murkier and more complex. Regardless of one's views on these particular issues, however, many of us find ourselves to be more or less skeptical in general. Because skepticism can evince a respect for the truth, and because some philosophers would insist that it's the best way to do so, it makes sense to assess how skeptical you are and to reflect on whether you think that your degree of skepticism is rational and virtuous. To start, consider a few scenarios and rank your willingness to believe without further confirming evidence in those scenarios. For instance, if you heard a bit of political news that generally conforms to your worldview from a source that you find trustworthy, how likely are you to double-check that information before believing it and spreading the information to others? Or another scenario, if a close friend tells you what would amount to a very painful truth about your character, do you dismiss her or try to learn more? Once you've gotten a sense as to whether or not there's a pattern in your responses, you'll be better able to locate yourself on the spectrum of skepticism. And once you do this, you can reflect on the extent to which you think that your skeptical inclinations are rational and virtuous.